is mine. Arrow, season premiere Wednesday, 8, 7 Central on the CW.
And welcome back to the heart of the stories we tell, a series where I spend way too much time thinking about what makes a story. And today's episode is Arrow, as it returns for Season 5 on CW. Over the last 4 seasons, we've had some hit-or-miss episodes. However, last season ended with Team Arrow breaking up, mostly over the fact that Green Arrow is physically incapable of just being honest and truthful even to the people he cares about, and partially because of the death of one of the Black Canaries, Laurel Lance, the one from the comic books. There's also a bit of controversy over the fact of who ships with who, and basically it comes down to, in the comics, Black Canary and Green Arrow are a couple, and in the TV show they've really pushed a different couple, Felicity and Green Arrow. I don't really care who my superheroes are sleeping with. I don't know why so many people do, but it is a controversy. As the show that started the Berlantiverse, I do have high hopes. However, as the show that is maybe possibly one of the worst of the Berlantiverse, I also have some fears going into this. Let's see how those turn out. But before we do, let me throw this up here. So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time. We start off the episode with introduction of Wild Dog, an 80s character that, well, looks kind of like an 80s character between the hockey mask and the guns and the silly shirt, but I have some hope for him. He'll be an interesting add-on. And then we're introduced to our new villain of the season. Well, maybe not season. Tobias Church. Interesting character. I don't really know much about him. I think the most important thing we can come away from tonight's episode, though, isn't a character, but an object. An object that's back with a vengeance. The Notebook. You remember it from season 1. Or if you don't, I'm sure we have flashbacks to it. They seem to be sidelining Speedy, and I can't say that I blame them. After everything that went on last season, maybe distancing themselves from her is a good idea. And by the end of the episode, we've already set up for our new Team Arrow. I can hardly wait to see Mr. Terrific myself. Oh yeah, and then there's this. The anti-Batman himself, Prometheus. I can hardly wait to see this, too. Overall, it had its good and its bad in the episode. I do think they're trying a little too hard to recapture Season 1 and put them back to basics, but I'm going to give them the chance because this does seem kind of cool. I'm worried that they've already changed the way Laurel acted in retrospect by saying she'd have a problem with killing when she's actually had less problems with killing than the others. However, I then want to talk about what else is coming up this season, so I'm going to just throw this up again. So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time. So the big crossover this year is going to encompass all 4 shows, starting with Flash, then going to Arrow, then going to Legends of Tomorrow. Whether Supergirl's the first or the last, I'm not entirely sure. However, any way you look at it, this coincides with the 100th episode of Arrow, and we already knew that the episode had an exclamation point in its title. Now we found out that that crossover is all about the Dominators, which means it's probably Invasion. The first episode of Arrow 5 years ago was entirely grounded. The idea of him being a superhero without being a superhero was kind of the way things were back then. Each season and each spin-off and each other show coming on to TV has expanded the idea, and we're to the point where we're not ashamed of being superheroes. We don't have to be vigilantes in these shows. Such a change in tone could be a massive problem, or the injection this show needs into getting back on track. Either way, I figure the crossover is going to be the point when we will figure out whether or not this should be the last season of Arrow or not. So why don't you leave a comment down below? Let me know what you think. Do you like this episode? Didn't you? Do you like Arrow anymore? Did you ever? Are you a big Olicity fan or a big Olicity hater? Either way, I'd love to hear what you have to say. Let's just try to keep it nice in the comments. As we're doing that, I want to also remind you that this year I'm doing a Halloween countdown for the month of October, so my Sunday night, Monday morning videos are all about horror. So why don't you take a look at those and then join me back here next. Hit that subscribe button, like, share, and all of that stuff. Until then, thank you for walking with me through the heart of the stories we tell. Good night.